This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
Sadly, very sadly.
Are we recording?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Can I tell you guys about my trip back to Columbus?
Yes.
Sure.
So I went to Columbus this week and saw some friends, saw some family. Shout out to all of them. And it's funny because I went out with one of my friends, a couple of my friends that I've been friends with since like high school. Shout out to Kelly and Sarah for meeting me up, and Kylie, who I know all listen to the podcast. So it was really cool to like see them.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because like, here's the thing about going home to visit your parents. Going home to visit your parents is kind of like Vegas. It's really got like a 3-day maximum and maximum amounts of alcohol throughout the whole thing. And I love my parents to death, but
my family doesn't drink. So it's like a dry week, you know, unless you're going out with your friends.
Yeah. Well, we were supposed to go out and we were supposed to meet up at like 7. And I was like, at 5:30, I texted them and I was like, so it's almost Fox News hour here. So
Can you get me the fuck out?
I'm going to head over sooner. I'll meet you. Yeah. But it's like, it literally was like my parents are both like going deaf. And so they are now at the level of 11, you know what I mean? Like they're at 11, yell talking to each other. So then it's like Fox News at its like highest decibel.
Volume 100.
Yeah. And them being like, what? What'd you say? Huh? I don't know.
Sean Hannity just said this thing.
Oh,
and you're like, oh no.
It's a lot. So
did you see that meme that was like the new parental control, where she was like, I went to my parents' house and I put the Fox News station on parental controls.
Wow.
And so like they just can't figure, they were just like yelling, trying to figure out why they can't get Fox News anymore, and they can't figure it out.
Oh my God. That
and she's like, this is how we're going to save America, guys.
Dude.
Oh, dude,
that's brilliant.
amazing. I would totally do that. My dad would lose his fucking mind. He'd be like, what the
What
fuck?
happened?
What happened to the fucking channel? My parents did the old school parental control. Like, remember like when you could have parental control on your TV?
Yes.
But here's the thing that I figured out. When you change the channel on your TV, you click it over to, like, it's normally on channel 3 to work the cable. But if you clicked it over to channel 2, I could watch MTV and it was just one channel ahead. A couple times I forgot to turn it back to the regular. My dad come home because he has no fucking clue. He's like, God damn it, what the fuck is going on with this cable? I don't understand. None of the channels are lining up the way they're supposed to. Like, channel 6 is on channel 7. Like,
You're like, I have no clue, Dad.
That's weird.
That's so weird.
You know what? I've never heard of that before. It's so weird. But that was my way to watch MTV before my parents came home, because I could totally do it, you know, like work around that parental control
so
back
funny.
then. So funny.
It's the thing about like parents. It's like your kids are always one step ahead of you.
Yeah. Especially in like, you know, like
Electronics
technology.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like there's no way you're pulling one over, you know?
Yeah. Well, speaking of technology, we ended my well, for all of you viewers, listeners, I don't know what I'm talking about. I had deleted Tinder off my phone a few weeks ago. I have since wiped the slate clean in a number of ways. I went for a complete reset. So not only did I delete Tinder from my phone, but I deleted the account. So I thought that it was kind of like that technology thing, you know, when something's broken.
Yeah.
You unplug it and you plug it back in again.
You did a hard reset.
I did a hard reset. So if you haven't checked out our Instagram story, I've actually been handing my Tinder off to friends now to let them swipe for me.
That was, wow. It was depressing. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you've never been on it before.
Never been on Tinder. And I was literally like, this is like going to Walmart and trying to find a date. That's how I felt.
So Christina sent me a text message last
yeah.
night. It was a screenshot, and she's like, "Hey, going on a date with this guy. What do you think?"
Describe the guy.
He was the picture he led with. First of all, I meant it when I said like good bones. I mean, that house had good bones. Like he's got a solid face and a nice looking body for sure. But the picture he led with was like, was he on a cruise? Like, where was he? He was like dancing, and he had white boy cornrows, but only on the side, and then like the top was like brushed into like a low pony or something. It was, and then the other pictures were like this man. And nothing against any of these activities, but if that's the picture you're leading with, and then the other pictures are like you in tree pose and then you on a boat, I'm like, you seem like a tool.
I sent this to Keegan with no context, nothing like that. I was just like going on a date with this guy, and I was like, I know she's gonna be so nice about her response. Oh my God, and she was
best response.
I got it, and I was like, first of all, I love you so much. I love you and respect your decision, regardless. But I don't know about that. I think that's what I said. I was like, I'm not sure about this one. The white boy cornrows are not a good look. I question his judgment that that's the photo he led with. But you know what? He's got a nice face.
And so then, of course, I tell her that I'm joking. And then what was your response? You were just like, well, that's the kind of guy that you like sleep with and then just never tell anyone.
Never talk about it ever again.
Because you were like, he does have a nice body.
Yeah, you sleep with him and then you walk out.
Tell anyone. No one.
He also had, and we won't say it, but he had a very bro-y name. Like we've already talked about like Chads and Codys on this podcast.
Yeah.
No shade to Chads and Codys. But his name was one of those where I'm just like, were you born in a frat house? Like, no.
It's a no.
It's a no.
Oh,
it's a no for sure.
Speaking of dating apps, so I found on Betches that they had posted something about this new dating app that they came out with, which I was like, I'm intrigued. And we may have talked about it before briefly, but it's called Ship.
Yep.
And so Christina and I signed up last night, and we invited Keegan along too.
I did download the app.
You can swipe for your friends.
Which, obviously, like, that's what we're doing on Tinder now. So I'm like, well,
we got it from here, Christina. Don't you worry.
Don't you worry.
We're going to have you met my friend Christina just straight on the app.
Yes.
There's an app for that.
There's now an app for that. I'm kind of stoked about it. I did a little swiping this morning for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the app?
I think there's only 12 guys signed up, so the options were limited.
It was very, very short.
Very short.
Okay,
so the end.
Hey, listeners, since there's so few people on this app currently, if you listen to the show and you're like, hey, I have a guy who would be perfect for Christina. Like, I know Christina. I have a guy who'd be perfect for her. Have him get on Ship, then send us an email and let us know who he is, and we will check him out for Christina.
Oh my God.
So we're going to do
like virtual. Have you met my friend Christina?
If you guys know Bill Hader, get his ass on Ship.
Why isn't he on Ship?
Oh my gosh.
We're going to keep putting that message out into the universe.
Why are we not married yet?
Yeah.
These are important questions we need to know.
I'm going to be honest. I'm a little disappointed that most of our audience has not come through on this.
I know.
Not even most of. No one has.
We really put our faith in you. And
so
all these
this will be our last podcast. No, I'm just
thousands of people. No one knows Bill Hader. Come on. Yeah. Are we that far removed from Bill Hader?
No, we can't be.
We can't be.
We can't be.
I know. It's going to happen.
Maybe one of Bill Hader's friends has been listening. He's like, I don't see you guys together.
My heart just broke.
Yeah, you actually looked genuinely shocked and upset.
Like, maybe that is what happened. Someone was like, "Oh, I know him. I just don't think you're a good fit."
But maybe he's not what you think he is. Like maybe his public persona is completely different than.
Maybe they're like, I can't do this to Christina. I know him personally.
Oh,
maybe.
Now, see, that's
Let's go with
nice.
that.
That's a positive one.
Let's go with that. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
that's the one.
Oh my gosh.
Shit.
Well, what else is going on this week? Oh my gosh, we were talking about the Theranos documentary earlier. I still want to listen to the podcast, The Dropout, but I did watch The Inventor, which
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't had the time, but
my God.
I would like to very much.
Yeah, I wanna see it.
She looks bananas.
It is like, I don't know if it's something about this generation that is just like has really big dreams and really big, really great ideas, which is phenomenal, but no clue how to fucking pull it off, because it's like the Fire Festival of Silicon Valley, where it's like, I've got this idea. Let's put this bitch in music festival on this private island. And it's like, yeah, dope. Pictures look cool. Cool idea, bro.
Yeah.
How are you going to get fucking power?
Yeah, how are you going to execute this?
How are you going to execute it?
I also think it takes
same
a
with her.
very particular personality type. You know what I mean? Like it takes somebody who
got that big dick energy,
has that kind of energy that can pull it off. Although, like I was saying, I haven't seen the documentary yet, but I've watched some things on YouTube and I've heard about it, and I think a lot of it was because you see these like old white dudes and they're like, I don't know, she was just so charismatic, and I'm like, I've seen interviews with her. I don't think she was that charismatic. I think she had boobs and she was like in her 20s. And you were like, I don't know, something about her. I'm like, you had a boner and you got confused and gave her all your money.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that thing that I think we posted it on Facebook, that 20-year-old on Tinder that's like, send me $5 on Venmo to get a surprise, and people
Winky
like matched
face.
with her. And then we're like, what happens if I give you $5? And she's like, just do it and find out. And then of course she gets their $5 and unmatches them. But I'm like, that's shit you can do in your 20s.
That's the
You know what I mean?
entrepreneurial spirit if I've ever seen it, man. If I was just a little shadier, I really feel feel like I could scam some people if I
talk
just
a good game.
I have too much of a conscience.
I know,
I would feel
I know.
too bad to actually do it. But also, hey, if you're the idiot who's giving somebody money for nothing, like,
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what she's figuring, is it's just $5 or whatever. But I mean, when you're 20 and you get the kind of I mean, I'm 37. I'm decent looking. So like, I've swiped yesterday, and I have 16 matches, I think. So I feel like that's a lower end of the scale.
Really?
Or
I feel like
I don't
16 is
because
a
like
lot.
women.
I did not swipe right on that many. It was a lot of lefts. I think
Yeah,
that you
it's
get
a
confused
ton.
on how much swiping you do that isn't right.
Oh, that's true.
You know what I mean?
It felt like forever.
Yeah, but 99% of those were lefts.
Yeah, it
Like,
was a lot.
It was a lot of lefts.
But so, like, what's 16 times 5? That's a decent amount of money, right?
yeah.
And
like
some of those
$100.
guys gave her 10. Like, she showed her PayPal account, and it was like 5, 5, 10, 10, 5, 10,
So
10.
someone's like, oh, if something cool happens with 5, what happens
what
if I
happens
give
with
10?
10?
Yeah. You'd have got $80
you know what?
just on that
But
matching.
here's the thing
Wow.
about that, though. Like, I have friends who are sex workers who work off of, either they do cam. Usually, people who do cam also do things like Snapchats.
Sure.
Where I have a friend whose Snapchat is not free. Like, you can't
Right.
be on it. So you could just. Well, I guess she's not doing anything, so she's straight just scamming them out of money. But you can make great money if you're willing to send pictures of your boobs to people.
Yeah.
If you don't care, you can make great money that way.
Just boobs?
Sure. Some people, sure. Why? Why not? I mean, I'm sure the more you're willing to do, the more money you could make.
Ugh.
But
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
How
know.
do you tax that?
I saw a. I don't know that you do. I did see a thing on By Felipe where a guy was like, I have stuff on you. I'm gonna leak it if you don't do XYZ. And she's like, leak it. And he's like, no, I don't want to, but like I will. And she's like, bitch, leak it. Go ahead. I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck if my boobs are out there. Have at it.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that's
awesome.
where
Leak
we're
away, motherfucker.
I think that
Yeah.
that's where we're headed as
Yeah.
a society. We're like, fine, you want a picture of my boobs? Fine.
Gives a
I,
shit.
I got a folder of like special photos.
Oh.
for when
With
things-
good different lighting.
Yeah.
like
exactly.
a dick pic. Like you were talking about with like certain dick pics.
You put good filters on it.
Exactly.
You put
Where
that
I'm like,
sparkly
this is
filter
fine.
over your boobs.
Doesn't show my face. And it's just my go-to when things get to a certain point, and I'm like, I guess I'm okay with
God.
this. Like, take this.
I guess my dad was right. I have too many identifiable marks. I shouldn't have got so many tattoos.
Right. So like, but
Your
I
arms
did
ever showing.
I did
You're like
see
this in
this
all-
Amy.
arms out in all your pictures.
I did see this Amy Schumer. Her latest.
I
thing.
loved her latest.
Ooh, I wanna
Her
see
latest
it. I
one
haven't
was
seen it yet.
really funny.
It was very funny, and I was skeptical.
Best
It was great.
idea ever that she had on that special is like, if someone sends you an unwanted dick pic, you send him one back.
Send him a dick pic back.
Yes.
I thought we were sharing dick pics. Is that not what we're doing?
No, not that. Okay.
I'm like, that is fucking the best idea ever.
Genius level.
It is. So I need a couple. I need to start saving a couple
folders.
when I get some. So I'll have like random dick pics.
I do love that you have a folder of like tasteful nudes of yourself on your phone.
Yeah.
I
It was
love
like,
that.
I was feeling myself like months ago or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, like it gets to this point eventually. Like, this is fine. This is fine.
This is fine.
This is fine. So yeah. I have three pics.
Yeah.
So if you've seen it, you're not special. I didn't take them for you. I took them for myself. And, but yeah.
That's funny.
There have been a couple people who've gotten to see them, but yeah, if they were released, there's no way you could tell that it's me.
And again, who gives a fuck?
And who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I think I'm totally getting to the place where I'm like,
oh no, you saw my boobies.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, because that's all. It's boobs, pretty much.
even
So,
if my face was in it though, at this point, I'm like,
Who gives a shit?
fucking fine.
Yeah.
Like, it says more about you than it does about me that you would share
Exactly.
that without my permission, and the people who would, clamor to go look at
Oh,
it
that's a
without
good
my
point.
consent. Like, that's more on you than it is on me. So
100%.
fucking have at it.
Yeah.
Everybody has a body, dude. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not ashamed of any of that shit. So
yeah.
whatever.
Nudes.
Oh, nudes.
Oh, nudes.
Big tit energy. That's what I got.
I have small tit energy, but they're small but good. Small but mighty.
Yeah, what's that?
Mine are
Teddy
purchased
You got Teddy
tit
Roosevelt's.
What?
Wait, what?
Was it the like walk softly but carry a big stick?
Yeah, that's not at all what I thought when
Oh,
you said
I
Teddy
know.
Roosevelt. I'm like, are you saying I have like man tits? Like,
I know. I guess Teddy Roosevelt works better like if it's like a guy with like a tiny penis, but he's like has that big dick energy.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you got a Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh.
Did you just make that up?
Yeah, just now. I don't know.
I love
That's
it.
why it didn't quite work.
I
I
thought
don't
you
know
were-
we have big dick
I thought
energy
you
and a
were-
Teddy Roosevelt.
calling me like Meatloaf in Fight Club or something.
No. It's like
It was
walk
like-
softly but carry a big stick. And so it's like, yeah, you're like, you got that
I've got
confidence.
big tit
You've
energy.
got big tit
but
energy.
but with
You're
small
walking
tits.
softly.
Yeah.
You got Teddy
Yeah.
Roosevelt's.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Oh, Lord. Dude, should we do some fuck, marry, kill?
Yeah,
let's
let's
do
do
it.
it.
Said a couple ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And
We should do the presidents one time.
Oh my
Fucking
God.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Let's do it. Let's fucking do it.
I'm okay with doing whatever. I just
Is
thought
it
that was
almost
funny.
President's Day? When's President's Day? Or is it
I think it's
past?
I think we passed
Oh,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, let's do presidents. That would be hilarious.
Okay.
Just not our current president, please.
Oh, God, no.
No.
Don't do that.
And
shit.
we all know that we want to marry Barack Obama, correct?
Yeah.
So we can't do
Let's
him.
just leave him
Let's
out
just
of it.
leave him out
Yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
just beautiful and perfect.
Wow,
and
you're going to make it
amazing.
difficult as what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of presidents
Got
to
it.
choose from. I think we
Tons.
can make it
Yeah.
difficult.
Tons.
I
Where my Buchanan fans at?
William Henry Harrison.
Garfield.
Coolidge.
We picked the most obscure presidents.
I think you got to throw in a JFK, right? Because he's a hottie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Problematic, but hot.
Okay,
Sure.
JFK. Lincoln.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Lincoln too.
Sure.
A tall,
Thinking the Lincoln.
a tall, skinny man.
What about?
He is tall. He is tall.
What
Very
about
tall.
Roosevelt? The other one, Franklin.
Franklin?
Ooh, big ideals. I
Yeah.
like it.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good.
I actually think
that's a good.
I like this round.
It's a good round.
That's a good round. Okay.
Okay.
So we got.
This is
Lincoln.
going to be so fun on our
Ooh.
Instagram with the pictures of all three of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to find the sexiest pictures. I can.
sexiest FDR photo.
There is no sexy picture of Abraham Lincoln. All pictures of Abraham Lincoln, he looks like he just ate something sour. They're all bad.
There are actually some really like kind of hot photos of FDR.
Okay.
Like
No, he
young,
was hot
young
when he was
photos,
younger.
young
Well, just
photos
young.
of FDR.
Okay.
He was hot when he was
Ooh,
younger.
was
There
hot.
aren't hot pictures of Lincoln. Like he
No,
looks
it's straight up.
bummed the fuck out in every picture.
He is a sad guy.
He looks sad.
Oh.
Yeah.
He did a lot for us, though.
yeah, he
did.
did. All right, I think
All
I
right.
have my answer.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna marry Lincoln.
Okay.
I like a sad guy.
You
I
do.
I do.
You're like,
There's-
this could be my
Good,
project.
solid cheekbones.
dude, good solid cheekbone. He tall. He
Yeah.
tall.
Yeah, he is.
For sure.
That's what we hear.
And yeah, he's like idealistic, and I'm going to marry Lincoln.
And he came from humble beginnings, which I like.
Yeah.
You know,
so he's not going to be like a snob
that
or whatever.
motherfucker like pulled himself up and became president, which is pretty cool.
I'm going to
Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, this one's the hard one. You know what? I'm going to fuck FDR. Because
Wow.
young FDR, I did watch the Roosevelts.
Sure.
And so there were some young photos where I was like,
He was hot.
Hey.
Yeah, he was hot.
And yeah, I mean, apparently he was pretty like he had mistresses and stuff like that, but it
He
wasn't
did marry his cousin.
Yeah.
Who I'm a big fan of.
Well, yes.
I read her 2-part huge ass fucking or not documentary, Jesus.
Biography.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
She's
fantastic.
impressive as fuck.
Yeah. And so I'm just like impressed. And I mean, I've always had a thing for FDR.
Sure.
So
I was worried that when I threw it out that it would be a hot take and nobody would be here for it, but I'm so glad.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it for sure. And you know what? I think JFK is cute. I really do. I've always thought he was cute, but he is a piece of shit. And everyone that knows anything knows he's kind of a piece of shit.
Here's my thing. You're kind of angry about him having mistresses, but you just talked about FDR having mistresses. Is it the blatancy?
I think it's a blatancy. And FDR, as far as I know, it was just his secretary. And just one.
Just the one.
That's fine.
Like JFK is like
He's a fuckboy.
Is a fuckboy.
Yeah, he's a fuckboy
for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
There's a little bit of that like tragic thing with FDR too. Like, just really like, oh, are you sad about something? That turns me on.
JFK is just a little too like charming.
Oh, but
he
had all that. He was always in pain too. There's something about that tortured. Gene, oh God, it's so hard because I'd like to take JFK for a ride too. Actually, I'd like his brother more.
Bobby.
No, I'm JFK over Robert.
I think Bobby's ideals were more genuine.
Sure.
Than JFK's, so I would
probably.
If
I'm just going with looks.
Oh, if we're just going looks wise, but
if
we're going personality, I'd go Bobby over JFK. God, yeah, this is really hard. It's really hard because there are things to like and admire about all three.
I mean, do you have to go back and live in the time period? Because that actually would make a difference. Because then I would probably not want to be living in 1863. I don't
think so. I think
here
it is, you guys. We don't actually have to do this. So...
Oh, goddamn, because I thought we were going to have to do some black magic. Raise these motherfuckers from the dead.
Yeah, it's going to be awkward.
Make it real weird.
The other thing, too, about Lincoln is apparently, like, whatever happened with his first love, like, he didn't want to marry Mary Todd. Like, he was in love with someone else.
He had a very tragic life. So
tragic.
I mean, that's the thing about...
So turned on right now.
That's the thing about Abraham Lincoln for me is that, like, while that sad boy thing is... definitely what I leaned into hard whenever I was like in high school. Living with it would get exhausting. I think.
Yeah. It'd be like another seance. Jesus.
So many seances. So many fucking. Did you guys know that about the Lincolns?
Yeah.
They tried to raise or contact their son after he died.
Yeah.
Sad.
It's a bummer.
Yeah. And Mary Todd Lincoln was also super sad. They were just sad all the time together. But I don't want to say
Thank God for depression medication.
He is the one I'm going to put off. But I in good conscience cannot say I want to kill Abraham Lincoln.
Sure. Yeah. You're in a friend.
So I will just say yes. He's not my marry or fuck choice.
Got it.
Just because I feel like fucking him would be sad. I can't imagine that was a great time.
Everybody cries afterwards.
He cries during. You're on top looking down just like, what?
You're like, can you tag me from behind? I can't look at your face.
But you know,
it's like a wet noodle.
You know, I like a tall man with good cheekbones. Like, so
that's the other thing. He's a tall, skinny white dude.
Which
He
has
got a monster.
He got a baby arm is what he got.
Absolutely.
You know he does. In fact, he actually kind of looks like my ex-boyfriend. I will show you a picture. He actually kind of does.
That's so funny.
But because I had a real type. But so I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no on that.
You're going to pass.
No,
You're like,
pass.
been there, done that, passing.
Yeah. You know what? I know what this is.
Yeah.
None of us are happy at the end of this relationship.
He's not happy in it or out of it. So.
Period. So I think I'm going to also marry FDR.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to marry FDR for all the reasons that you said. And then I'll take JFK for a ride. I mean, I don't want to marry a Kennedy because their family seems so
It's
fucking
cursed.
like,
It's
first of
cursed.
all, that. And then secondly, you know about their like his sister Rosemary,
Yeah,
right?
They
and how like
lobotomized her.
they lobotomized her, you know, and like any family that is that obsessed with their like image and like old money, I don't like any of that. So I wouldn't want to marry into a family like that. I feel like it would
they
be
like
miserable.
rum runners or something?
I
That's
think
like where they
so.
got their money was during Prohibition, like running alcohol. My Gigi used to talk about the Kennedys constantly because my family's from Massachusetts.
Oh.
So it grew up like it was like my Gigi's big thing is talking about Teddy. What
my
a
gosh.
Teddy was and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
I mean, yeah, his son, on the other hand, probably would have married him.
JFK Jr.?
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
What a darling.
So cute.
And how cute were the two of them together?
So cute.
Caroline?
So
Yeah,
cute.
yeah. They were
He
cute.
was
Hot.
beautiful.
Hot.
Not my type,
Beautiful.
but I just think they were a really beautiful couple.
They were
Yeah.
a beautiful
Yeah.
couple, and I thought that he's to me far better looking than his father. I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
See, I don't
I
think
think
so.
so.
A
But
combination of him and Jackie, those
Yeah.
genes,
Gorgeous.
I was like,
but
that is a winning combo for
but
sure.
I would fuck JFK. He's probably good at it.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he's probably
or
pretty good at
lazy
it.
at it because he can get away with it, you know?
He seems like he likes sex a lot, and
Yeah.
people who really like sex a lot,
They want to do it good.
I feel like they can and will do it.
they're
good.
like, I'm going to show off.
yeah, exactly. No hands,
No
just
hands.
like
No hands. Moving the table. Moving the table.
I'm getting some real Mad Men vibes, and I like it. I like it.
yeah, which is why it's definitely some Don Drapery vibes where I'm like,
It is that time
I
period
don't
for
want to
sure.
marry you, but I will have a nice glass of scotch with you,
Yeah.
and then like
Let you fuck my brains out.
and then
And be done.
and then bye bye.
And then never tell anybody about it.
Yeah,
Because
again.
he also has cornrows.
Exactly. He's got that. He's got
Yeah.
that fuckboy energy, and also don't talk to me during because I don't mind his accent, but I just feel like during sex, a strong Boston
that
accent.
is intense.
like
yeah.
an oh yeah during
Yeah.
with that Boston accent. I feel like I'm being fucked by Peter Griffin. I don't want it.
Oh my God.
No, please don't.
no.
Speaking of, that's where I'm going tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Heading to Boston.
Boston.
Yeah.
We just lost all our Boston listeners. I'm so sorry.
Sorry. I like Boston quite a bit. Anyway, so for me, I believe that I'm going to marry Roosevelt, one of my favorite presidents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're all marrying Roosevelt.
Are we? No, she's marrying
I'm
Lincoln.
marrying Lincoln.
Oh, you're marrying Lincoln. Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
I
like a sad, quiet
yeah.
guy.
I like him. I just there's one of my favorite presidents, so that I'm going to definitely marry him. I am going to fuck Abe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't with
Dude, there's
Kennedy.
something, sad guys
Yeah.
in bed sometimes do the craziest shit.
Yeah,
Like a really sad guy,
and you
it's
know what?
like,
I'm not afraid to work for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He don't have to perform. He got the baby arm
Yeah.
happening. Just keep it hard for me.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. My
Is there
point
no
is, yeah, no
Can
dick
someone
pics?
answer this question for
Has anybody
us?
got any dick
Abraham
pics?
Lincoln have-
But
This is so
I'm not afraid.
disrespectful.
It really is. We are gonna get so much hate mail, and I don't
know.
care. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think that I'm not afraid to put the work in because we all know that I'm a 2-pump chump. So I don't need you to do it for long. I just need you to keep it erect for a little while.
Yeah.
So
I've never had it. See, that's the thing. Is
I don't need to show off.
In my day, I have done plenty of sad guys. And I've never there are often the ones that get
busy.
Get the busiest. Yeah. There's something I don't know. There's something in the
They're trying
darkness.
You know what? You
extra
guys,
hard.
I will take that back a little bit. I'm sorry, Abe, that I said that you would be lazy in bed because
I mean, we've all fucked the sad boy, the sad dark boy.
there is
Ooh,
that,
no.
and then also fucking the Civil War was stressful.
Yeah,
so
it was very stressful.
he had to take
work
out.
it
He had to take out that he needed some release,
Yes.
some relief. So I'm sure that I'm like, take your day out on me. It's fine.
My God.
You know
It's been a while since someone has taken a day out on me. Ooh, I'm sweating right now. So I'm just like,
Spicy in here.
I really would like you to stress fuck me. Oh my
Take
gosh.
one out.
Take
Let's
one
go.
out.
You
Let's
can
go.
roll one of those old timey cigarettes after.
Oh my gosh. All right. And then, so who's it going to be? Who you're going to fuck Abe and that's going to be?
Yeah.
All right.
And then I'm going
Killing
to.
Kennedy.
Yeah. I don't want to say it like that because I think that's too soon.
Yeah, we can't. We can't.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. So we're going to set Kennedy aside.
Yes. I will set him aside because I
aside.
don't necessarily want to be his friend either. So if I'm honest, he's, it's a no for me. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it. He's good looking. And,
Dude.
and I don't have like a real negative things to say about him. I wasn't alive, so I don't know enough probably to feel like I've invested in his business one way or the other. So yeah, but he
did some good shit for civil rights. So it's like, okay. But yeah, I know what you mean.
So
too.
did Lincoln, if we're honest.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, kind of kicked it off a little.
So yeah, I totally feel you on Kennedy as well. I don't get the like swooning over JFK thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, that gave me such a history boner. That was so fun.
I love history.
Me too.
Also, too, here's the thing.
I really cannot wait to see the fucking pictures that you put up for Fuck, Marry,
I'm
Kill
gonna
for
look
the episode. I am so excited.
You know what? Also,
because it's usually like Justin Timberlake or Tom Hardy or like all these like.
this is
the hottest.
This is one that I am super curious to hear.
I can't wait to look.
I want to know what our listeners have to say on this one.
Yeah.
Like, this is
know.
one that I actually want you guys' feedback on. Please let us know, like,
Yeah.
of those three, or if it's not those three, which three presidents would you have chosen?
Are you hot for Garfield?
No
you got
one,
it bad
no
for
one is
McKinley.
hot.
Anyone hot for Garfield?
Got it bad for McKinley. Cool for Coolidge. Oh my gosh.
I mean, next time
Hot for Harrison.
we could pick even worse presidents. Though. At least none of us picked Nixon.
Oh
God.
He looks like Droopy Dog. Is that what they
really
based
does.
that cartoon off of? Because it's literally a dead ringer.
That is what his face looks like.
Ugh. Well,
Fuck boy for Ford. I don't know.
Ford. Oh my gosh.
You know what? I would marry Jimmy Carter, though.
I was just
Carter,
gonna say Jimmy
yes.
Carter.
I would have
just
married
Carter's
Jimmy
the
Carter.
best, yeah.
He seems like the best. He seems like a genuinely nice guy, which is probably why he wasn't the best president, because
Right.
he's too fucking nice.
Yeah.
Like,
riding for Reagan. I got all of them today.
You're on a roll. Why don't you do like political slogans? I don't know why.
Ride or die Reagan. No.
Oh my god. Well, let's take 5 and then we'll come back with stories.
and we're back.
Yes.
Trying to find ways to change that up a little bit. Okay, so let's dive in with some stories.
Oh, that's right. You're crazy in love this week.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. So this is an email that we got, and it says, so here's one of my many, many dating horror stories. If you like this one, let me know. I have plenty more where it came from, including, but not limited to, the really, really racist guy.
Oh, God.
Showed up drunk to the date, and many, many more.
Oh,
Please send us those.
I want all of them. Send them all in.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you're ever asking yourself,
Should I?
should I send in these stories? The answer is 100% of the time, yes. Yes, you should.
Yeah.
Please do
We
it.
want them.
We want them. Okay, so she says, so I had been on a few dates with this guy. This was like 7 years ago, so let's call him Ryan. I think his name was something like that. So Ryan and I love that she doesn't remember. She's like,
Call him
he
Ryan.
seemed like a Ryan. Like
Yeah.
he had a Ryan vibe.
When I like try to tell stories, I think in the future of this whole like experience, that's definitely going to be like Jesse.
I don't know, something like that.
that.
So Ryan and I have decided after a few dates that neither of us are truly feeling the spark, but we would like to continue to be friends. Sounds good. Great. Now, here is a detail of the story that doesn't seem important, but is. I was returning to college at the time. I had decided that it was a nice day and rode my bike into class. Now, this is like a 45-minute bike ride.
Oof.
God, I need to get on that game. I used to do that shit. I used to bike like...
Don't ride a fucking bike in LA.
Oh, I used to.
I really want you to still be alive.
I used to do it in... I did get hit by a car one time.
Oh, okay.
Just the once, but my thighs looked incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it's good
so,
for you.
You win some, you lose some. Pros and cons.
I'm going to have a beautiful looking grave. I don't know if you saw how good my thighs look. Make sure it's a fully open casket.
Please bury me in shorts. Okay. So... during the day, Ryan texts me that he and some friends are getting together near where I go to school to hang out, talk about life and where they're going. This is such a college thing to do.
Yeah.
We're getting together to talk about life.
Oh my God.
I thought that was an odd way of putting chill, but whatever, and accept the invitation to join them. You were right. It is an odd way to say that we're going to just hang out.
Yeah.
Ryan arrives. I toss my bag in his car since I rode my bike that day. We walk to the bar. When I get inside, I'm immediately uneasy. No one is there except Ryan's friends and a group of girls that look rather awkward. I chat with Ryan's friends for a bit before really realizing what was up. We were ushered into seats there where a projector is set up. Oh. It becomes apparent very quickly that this is a pyramid scheme meeting.
Oh, no.
What they are selling is trips. Thus the line of talk about life and where they're going.
Oh, no.
I
just got chills.
I'm stuck in the middle of the row. My keys to my apartment are in his car. Fuck. I have no choice short of making a giant scene and sit through it. The video was awful. The way it was put to try and get your friends involved was worse. They literally drew out a pyramid but tried to make it not look like one. The whole premise was buying into this club and then taking trips because you made commission off selling them to your friends. It was so bad. The amount of uncomfortable this was off the charts. I knew as soon as it was over, I needed to bail. I told Ryan this. I don't even remember what I said. I think I made up some bullshit about needing to get home before it got dark. He seemed offended. The fuck? That's what she put in parentheses. And tried to convince me to stay. But by this point, I'm at fuck this shit point and was adamant I needed to leave.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
He got his keys and let me get my bag from his car with promises to hang out again soon. I was worried any other phrase would drag this out. I ghosted him with zero regrets.
No shit.
Regrets.
Because
Dude.
there's nothing worse. Like, I earlier this year sat through a timeshare meeting. It is the fucking
The worst.
And if you are a people pleaser or like easily led in any way, it's just like awful. And then pyramid schemes are just, guys.
I mean, have we all gotten that Facebook message from that girl you went to high school with or
She
you
sells
haven't talked to?
Scentsy now.
And she's like, hey girl.
Hey.
Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation. I'm like,
This is not going anywhere good.
I know that you work a lot with salons. I have a really great thing that I think that you
I
would
have a
love.
fantastic
I'm like,
product.
Colleen,
Yeah.
I haven't talked to you in like 17 fucking years.
Have you ever heard of lip sense? Because
Listen, Beth, I'm
Oh my
not
God,
trying to sell Rodan and
Arbonne
Fields
is-
for you.
Oh, no, exactly.
although I did get an anti-cellulite cream from Arbonne once, and that shit did work, but it was like $70.
Oh, it's so expensive.
But it fucking
I know.
worked. It did work. So
Yeah.
I mean, again, pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
How all of this comes down to how good do you want your thighs to look?
This whole episode is
And like,
You're gonna,
it's pros and
you're gonna
cons.
jump into a pyramid scheme. You're gonna get hit by a car on your bike. What are you gonna do?
Jesus.
Oh.
So, okay, I'll go next. This story is from Reddit, and it's called "The Chocolate Stain."
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm going to.
So about 2 years ago, I was using Tinder and Bumble a fair amount. However, I wasn't interested in just a hookup and thus was not having much luck. I was about to delete the app when I matched with this guy. Let's call him John. It's perfect.
John's, Ryan's.
Look, he seemed like a John.
Yeah.
And the first line in his bio was looking for something more than a hookup. So I was like, fudge.
Sold.
Fudge. I love it. So fudge. this I'm going to give
with
this
the
a
chocolate
shot.
thing.
Yeah, fudge. I'm just going to give this a shot. So I was like, oh, yes. Sent him a message about the fact that he was a math major, teasing him a little and messaging back mostly thankful that I didn't just send hey. Fast forward 2 weeks and I was going to be back in the city that he lived in. I had been at my parents'. She writes in parentheses. So I sent him a message letting him know and suggesting we hang out. He responded saying that I deserved more than just hanging out and asked me for a proper date to this bar on the 50-something floor of a building.
Literally
don't
has
like that.
never happened. 0 times. I have gone on so many fucking Tinder meetups or whatever, and not a single one of these motherfuckers.
Like, you deserve more than just a
No,
Well, and,
0.
and also
That's kinda nice.
I don't know if I'd like that because it could be nice. It
Yeah.
could be nice, or it could be one of those things where it's just like, no. I wanted just to meet up.
just to meet
Like,
up because I don't know you
There's a
and I
reason
don't want to be
why-
stuck there for like a couple hours.
Exactly.
with
There's
a
a reason why I
stranger.
might be suggesting this, which is like I might not want it. You think that you're being like nice,
Yeah.
and if it works out, then that would be great. But I have a
I
feeling
mean, it's a sweet way to go about it. The way he did it, like,
Yeah.
hey, you deserve more than just a meetup.
Sure.
And apparently they've been talking back and forth quite a bit. So it seems
okay.
like, you
okay.
know.
All right.
Fair enough.
So
fair
she's
enough.
like, so I agreed. I got into the city on my train about 30 minutes before we were supposed to meet for our date and got changed. As it looked online, like a fairly fancy bar. So it's like on the building, like 50th floor of this
rooftop
building
situation.
kind of. Yeah.
That's nice.
Fast forward 30 minutes, I show up at the bar, black cocktail dress, nice heels, and see him there, wrinkled khakis, and oversized polo shirt. Normally, I don't judge people on their clothing, but he told me that he had just gone clothing shopping and bought a bunch of bougie clothing. So I kind of expected him to be wearing that. Not a big deal. It was a nice date, and he walked me home. He messaged me the next day asking if I wanted to go on a walk with him. I said yes and got ready, and we met after lunch. As I was walking into the park where we were supposed to meet, I very quickly was able to pick him out of the crowd. Why, you may ask? Because he was wearing the exact same thing he was wearing the night before.
Ooh.
As I got closer, I realized that it was not exactly the same thing. His shirt had a distinct addition, a chocolate stain that was about the size of 2 toonies. I love the Canadian toonie.
What's a toonie?
It's a Canadian $2 coin.
Oh, okay.
So imagine about quarter size.
Okay.
Once again, I tried to ignore it, but personal hygiene is not something I take lightly. So,
Well, and it's just
isn't that somebody that the guy that you ended up accidentally super liking on Tinder
God.
last night is because he like bathes regularly? You were like, oh, and Cassie accidentally fucking super liked somebody on
sorry.
Tinder.
what does that mean?
Okay, if you don't pay for Tinder, you get 1 free super like a day.
oh shit!
And
sorry.
if you
She
No.
just looked at you like a day, Cassie.
a day. But I never use any of them because if you super like somebody, it's like
thirsty AF.
thirsty AF.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry.
It shows up in their feed like it tints your profile blue and it's like this person super liked you and it's like
Oh, I feel
I'm
so
like,
uncomfortable.
I don't
Someone super liked
super
me.
like
Oh,
anybody.
please go away.
yeah.
Stomach hurts. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
So yeah. But yeah, he did. He put in his bio that he bathes regularly.
like super like that.
Yeah, I do super like that. Like the thing, yeah. I mean, hygiene is important in general, but again, it's that conversation that I feel like we have a lot on this podcast, which is like, put your best foot forward if you're going on a date. Like, be the best you. Because this,
If you gotta
this
wear
is-
khakis, at least iron them.
Is this the best? This is the best. Like, because I'm thinking that when I meet you on a date, I'm putting my best foot forward.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is the best me. So
Right.
when I meet you, I'm like, is this the best you?
and it probably is. And
this
that's
is
the thing.
best
Well,
version of yourself.
And honestly, if it's not, then it shows like the level of fucks that they give about
Exactly.
it. So it's like, oh, okay, like you don't give a fuck about this. Okay.
But the funny thing was is that like he's like, hey, you deserve more than just a like coffee date. I want to take you on a real
right.
date.
So it kind
but
of
then
seems like he gives plenty of fucks, but then it's
shows up. Yeah. And then so on the date number 2, the next day,
so the chocolate stains on his shirt.
same shirt,
Not where I
same
thought this
shirt,
was going.
but with a
I know.
chocolate stain.
I'll be honest. I thought this had.
I thought we were going to have a crotch chocolate
butt
stain.
stuff.
Yeah, butt stain.
Yeah.
So off we went and had another nice time with great conversation. Fast forward 3 days. We've been texting, but both of us have been too busy to hang out. So he asks if I have plans for Friday evening, and I say no. So he asks if I want to go see the new Marvel movie. And I, of course, say yes, because who doesn't love Marvel? I feel you, girl. That's me.
If he fucking shows up with the same fucking
my
outfit.
God.
Fast forward
There's
to
more
the movie.
stains.
Fast forward to the movie. I am waiting outside, and he calls me to let me know that he is running a few minutes late, but he wants to stay on the phone with me while he's walking into the movie. I think this is nice enough, and then he says that he has to explain something to me. Cautiously, I tell him, "Go ahead."
Oh,
and
this
then,
is never good.
Never going to end well.
This is when he says to me, "You will probably meet my parents, friends, and other family at some point. And when you do, you should understand that in every relationship, there is a reacher and a settler. In our relationship, I am settling for you, and you are reaching for me."
Oh, he fucking didn't. Oh my God.
Okay. Seriously, though, like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Who says that on the fucking phone to somebody? Who says that? How does that even come
my
up?
eyelid is twitching right now.
Balls.
You were reaching for me.
Oh,
Gross.
fuck off. I hope, please tell him off. I need that in my life.
I
I
stood
am
there.
reaching in my pocket for any fucks to give you. I am reaching for my keys to get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
So, did he say this to her face or on the phone?
On the phone as he's walking in to meet her. I stood there in disbelief at what he was just said to me, and my disbelief only grew as I saw him approaching in the distance. He's wearing the same fucking outfit with the chocolate stain.
My
Get
God.
the fuck out of here.
Bitch, I'm reaching for some Tide to help your ass.
You need a fucking Tide pen.
Wow.
Please tell him off. I need this to happen from me.
Gross.
That's it?
Oh,
That's
my
the end?
God.
Sorry.
Oh my God. No.
I'm so angry right now.
No.
Who says that on the phone to somebody?
You're reaching.
I need this listener to please send us a follow-up.
Yeah.
I need to know what the fuck happened, because if you didn't please tell me that you called him the fuck out on his nasty ass appearance. What a piece of shit.
What?
Oh,
3
I'm
days.
furious.
Same shirt every time, but I'm the settler
Oh,
and
I'm
you're
furious.
the reacher.
Oh, how dare
I don't
First
think
of
so,
all,
bro.
how dare you?
Also,
How
like,
dare
we're on
you.
date 3 and you're talking about me meeting your parents. Like,
Yeah.
slow down,
Pump
thirsty.
the brakes.
Slow down.
No,
thirsty.
he super liked her, but
Yeah.
she
He's
was
super liked.
reaching.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like, you're the one talking about meeting the family, mister.
Oh my
So-
God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I would have locked him out of my apartment and straight up just turned back around and gone back inside.
Yeah.
We're done.
We're
Block your
done.
number. Go away.
Yeah. Well, this one is from a patron. Her name is Ellie. She emailed it to us. The subject is how I wasn't a virgin anymore, but still very much so a virgin.
Oh no.
Oh.
No.
Oh, no.
So fucking good. You know how I love like fucking awkward high school
Oh.
stories or whatever. So this one is fucking great. She says, "Hola, ladies. I love you all and the podcast so much that I became a patron. So cheers."
Hey, thank you.
My worst dates have dwindled away now that I found the love of my life. He's incredible, and we definitely enjoy sharing our worst dates. We even listen to your podcast together. I love that.
I love that that's a couple activity. Have your boyfriend send us some stories.
Exactly. Okay. So she says, I was in high school and had fallen for the boy who walked me to class.
Aw.
So we usually hung out in groups outside of school, but one day he said it would be fun to study together at his apartment after school, just the
Oh
two
my
of us.
Just the two of us.
I love that. I love that. It just
cute.
everything about that. Like
It's
he
like
walks you to
study.
class, you hang out outside of school. Like it just
It's cute.
brings me back.
She says, I was a bit nervous since I would have to make something up to convince my parents I wouldn't be alone with him. I told my parents that his parents would be there, and I even gave my mom his mom's number to not worry. When we got to his place right after school, his parents weren't home.
Ooh.
Knowing how both of our parents were on the stricter side, I hesitated for a moment to step in, but he quickly reassured me that we would be fine. We immediately began kissing on the couch. and sure enough, made our way to his room. His apartment was small, so it wasn't hard to make the transition.
Oh, no.
As our kissing got hot and heavy, he jumped from the bed like he'd seen a ghost and threw a blanket over me, telling me to be as quiet and still as possible.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
In all caps, his mom was home. He went out of the room to say hi to her as he closed the door behind him. Since she had a rule about leaving his door open, she immediately asked him, "Why is your door closed?" As she continued to interrogate him because he's doing an awful job at pretending to act normal.
Moms know fucking everything too. Like, you think you're being subtle by being like, oh, maybe she'll just think that this one time my door is closed.
Yeah.
No, moms notice fucking
everything.
every change in behavior. You can't do that.
Well, what hit me is like, I'm like, okay, I'm 37 now. And like, how old was I when my mom was 37? I'm like, so it'd be like a teenager trying to pull one over on me right now.
Yeah.
And I'd be like,
no
way.
chance.
No way.
no, you're
You
not.
think you're going to pull one over on me?
Do you know what shit I've done in my life?
You think you can watch MTV in my house? Oh, wait. Oh, wait.
Unless it's technology related, and then it's a different story.
Exactly.
But if it's about your mom's instincts, her instincts are
always
fucking
right.
good.
Yeah. She says, I am panicking to get out from under the covers as quickly and quietly as possible to put my shirt back on and find a better hiding spot. I didn't come close to looking like pillows that you put under the covers. She says, as I'm frantically trying to situate myself, his cat starts to scratch on his bedroom door since he's inside with me.
Oh, that cat's calling you out
I
immediately.
know. That cat's like, I'm gonna fuck with this bitch.
Yeah. He's like, I got you. I fucking love cats. They're so shady. They are.
I'm still hearing his mom ask, why are you acting so weird?
These are my favorite.
I know.
It reminds me
I'm
of when
so
our
awkward.
when
I'm
our
like
other
sweating.
patron Matthew wrote us that
Oh
story
my
about
God.
hiding
Yes.
in his girlfriend's closet.
It's so, I mean, as a teenager, you really feel like this is like end of the world shit.
is. It is.
It's end
You're
of the
about to
fucking
be
world.
fucking murdered. That's how you feel. You're like, it's all over for me.
I
Like,
know.
it's over for me, Doc. It's been real.
So she opens the door to his room to let the cat out and leaves the door open. She doesn't see me because I am standing behind the door. I even closed my eyes and hoped she didn't notice my backpack at the edge of the bed. I felt like I was in a horror movie. I stood behind the door for almost an hour.
Oh, my God.
Until I finally heard him convince his mom to start some laundry for him so he could do something in private. She goes, what do you need to do?
Oh, no.
I don't hear his response, but it works. And she goes outside to the washer and dryer just across the way from his apartment. At the moment she leaves, he runs into the room, grabs my backpack and says, this is my chance to run out. I put on my shoes, grab my bag, and make my way out the door.
No, she's going to get caught.
As I'm rushing down the stairs, she's walking back to the apartment and sees me. I quickly turn back up the stairs as if I was just showing up to their place, and I start to wave hi to her with a big innocent smile.
Oh, no.
He's at the top of the stairs shouting to his mom, hey, she just got here so we can study now.
Oh, my God.
Her face was totally showed that she had put two and two together, and we honestly weren't fooling anyone. We tried to play it off as I walked back in, set my bag on the couch, and pulled out my books this time.
Oh, no.
I still didn't know what he had said to her to leave the apartment, but it wasn't just to do his laundry because they were both acting very strange.
Oh, no.
My mom called at that moment asking me to go home, which was horrible timing because in his mom's eyes, I had just got there. Fortunately, his mom says I can't stay because he has chores to do.
Oh, no.
Later that night, he called to tell me that he had told his mom
Oh, no.
he needed her to go outside to do laundry.
Oh, no. No.
So that he could jerk off before I got there.
Ow! Ow! Who has those kinds of conversations conversations with their mom.
Oh my God. Apparently he thought that was the only way he could explain the massive boner he was displaying when his mom got home from work.
Oh my God.
I'm fucking dead.
This is the worst.
Oh my God. That explains why they were both acting so weird. Yes, it does.
No.
He also told me that my mom had also texted his mom the time that I had arrived, which was just before his mom got home.
Oh no. So she knew.
My mom hadn't said anything to me, and neither of our parents ever talked to us about it. But the worst part is, he went on to tell his buddies that we went all the way that day, which started rumors that I wasn't a virgin anymore. I was so upset and never talked to him again.
What an asshole.
Oh my God.
God, I wish that
There
it
was
ended
so
better.
much high school in that story that I am literally
That was the most high school story I've ever fucking
dying.
heard. Oh my God. That was amazing.
That
was amazing.
was incredible.
Oh God.
And you're in so much fear that you think that the best decision to get yourself out of it is to tell your mom that you need to jerk off.
Mom.
Ooh, yikes.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
Deeply upsetting.
Also, too, if it was me, I'd have been like, go to the fucking bathroom. I don't give a shit.
I mean, I don't entirely understand an open door policy for a teenager. Like, I'm like, I don't. Like, teenagers need alone time.
Yeah. You don't want to see what they're doing.
Do
No,
not.
I don't.
No.
You do not.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been walked in on?
Masturbating?
Mm-hmm.
No, thank
No,
God.
oh God, no. No, thank God.
Thank Jesus. Oh, no. Oh, no. Save that for the shorty.
Yes, save that.
For
Save
the
that.
shorty.
If you want to hear that story, you got to tune into the shorty.
Oh, man.
Well,
actually,
the shorty's
the shorty
actually
would've came
coming up
up-
first, so you should have heard it already.
Yeah. Oy vey.
Oh, my God.
All right, so let's
Okay,
go from
crazy
one
in love.
high school story to another.
Yay!
It is yay, but it's also
Nay.
sad.
Hey, pros and cons.
Pros and cons. You give and take. This one is sad, but it is good. We're going to talk about the disappearance of Betty Williams. Okay.
Ooh, I don't think I know this one.
Betty Williams was a 17-year-old teenager in Odessa, Texas in 1961.
Okay.
So she is a senior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
She comes from a very conservative part of the country, very old school Christian values. It's also 1961.
Right.
So it's got that whole Leave It to Beaver vibe.
Was like 1961 in Texas means like actually it's like 1927.
Yeah.
That's what
In
it
today's
equates
money.
to.
In today's money, yeah, 1927-ish.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it's all about. It's still Texas, so it's God and football. I mean,
God.
like
Yes.
that's what it's about.
Yep.
And she comes from a very conservative Christian family. So one morning, her mom wakes up to wake her up for school, and she's gone. She's not there. They can't find her. It's unusual. They spend a while looking for her, can't find her, so they go straight to the police station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the police are like, she's 17. When did you see her last?
She ran away. Ugh.
Well, they're like, when did you see her last? And the mom's like, she came home from play rehearsal at 10 o'clock last night, said goodnight to me. So I saw her last night. And they're like, okay, so she really hasn't been missing that long. And they're like, well, but she's a good Christian girl.
Yeah.
And this is unlike her. So could you please just like look
Do
into
your
it?
jobs.
Yeah.
Could you please?
Would you mind?
Would you mind?
Doing your job? So, so the police go to the school to start interviewing some of Betty's classmates, and they bring everyone who was at play. Well, not everyone who's on play rehearsal, but everyone who is in the drama club with her into a room to talk to them. So they start talking to these kids, and they're like, would there be a guy or something who maybe Betty was involved with?
Yeah.
And the kids are kind of like, well, there wasn't a guy. There were lots of guys.
Oh.
Betty.
Betty was kind of promiscuous.
This is some Twin Peaks shit right now.
She was proudly promiscuous. In fact, she
Good
looked
for
at
her.
she looked at herself as kind of like a beatnik. She looked at herself as somebody who was not ashamed about having sex, which 1961 in Texas was a huge deal. Like, girls just didn't do this. Like,
God, this girl's my hero.
I got all of this from I learned about this story from a TV show, which is great, called A Crime to Remember. And they do kind of like old school. And they have reenactments, but the reenactments are really good. And they interview like friends and family. And then they also, in this episode, Michelle McNamara is interviewed. And she talks about this case.
I'm
awesome.
totally can't wait to watch it.
It's a great show. And sometimes reenactments are real bad. These ones are good. They're actually very good.
Okay.
So Betty, like when they're talking to her best friend on this show, she's like, I loved Betty. I loved that she had this really free spirit. She was interested in civil rights. She was like, she wanted to be a theater major. She wanted to go away to college and do theater, and
She's ahead of her time.
She had all of the theater magazines, and she didn't care about what other people thought about her. But
at 17, man,
at 17, all I cared about, you know what I mean?
Would she have become if that's the kind of fucking confidence and just like forward thinking that this little girl in Texas had?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You have to have such inner fire to buck the system and to do it at such a young age. I have.
And she was such a sweet person too. Like, they describe her as like, she was still very active in her church and with like the kids in her church.
She's actually living her faith.
Yeah, she's a
you know
good
what I mean?
person.
Where she's like, I accept everyone. You know what I mean?
And she loved
actually
working,
living her faith.
She loved working with children, like in the church and all of that. So they find this out, that she has her bedroom, which also, we just talked about a story that had an open door policy. I think that's swinging very far one way. Her bedroom, though, for a 17-year-old, had a door on the inside.
Oh.
Also had a door that led directly outside.
Ooh.
So she would
come and go
as she pleased. So she would pretend to go to sleep, and then in the middle of the night, she would sneak out, and she did it often. She would sneak out, just doop to doop to doop. She would sneak out and go to like the local, soda pop shop or whatever
kids
did in 1961. So
let's go get a malt.
Let's go get a shake. So she would do that often, and she would hook up with guys pretty often, and people would be like, they were asking the kids like, well, did you see her? And they were like, well, it was past most of our bedtimes. Most of us were at home.
They're like, we're not that brave.
Yeah, they're like,
we don't have outside
she
doors.
got big dick energy. She rode up with that big dick energy. So they didn't know about this at the time, but they were like, okay, is there anyone who maybe she had a special relationship with? And so they're like, well, she did date this guy seriously named Mac Herring about 7 months before, over the summer. So they were like hot and heavy over the summer. He was kind of a more reserved guy. He was a popular football player. And she really seemed to like him a lot. She loved him, in that way that like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old loves somebody. Like she really did. He kind of saw her as more of a summer fling. And so by the end of the summer, he had like dumped her off for a more popular, more socially acceptable girl with a better reputation. So that was hurtful to her.
Yeah.
And that really hurt her feelings. So after that, one of the other friends, her best friend, is like, hey, you should also know that she has been sleeping with this radio DJ who's like a grown ass man, like a grown adult man. Yikes. And she's been sleeping with him. So she would sometimes spend the whole night over at his place. So maybe check that guy out.
Check out a guy that likes to sleep with teenage girls.
Yeah.
Maybe, because they're generally pretty
fucking
sketch
creepy
and weird.
So the cops are getting ready to leave. They're like, okay, thank you so much. We're going to go talk to that dude, because they thought the same thing as us. They're like, sketch AF. We're going to go talk to that guy. And it's at this point that some members of the drama club are like, hey, like, did you want us to tell you everything weird about Betty?
Or
just Cliff's notes?
You know, just anything. Like, because the cops, of course, came in and were like, if there's anything unusual, you should tell us. Like, it doesn't have to be related to. So they very casually drop that Betty did ask me to kill her once.
Wait, what?
Yep. And then other people in the drama club are like, me too. Me too. Betty asked me to kill her once.
Oh my God.
So they are like, record scratch, fucking moonwalk back into the room and sit down and are like, tell us about this. What could make her say something like that? Why would she have said anything like that? And so then she starts talking about, they start talking about a time when Betty hooked up with the most popular guy in school. His name was Bill Rose. He was like the head football player, the like hottest guy in school.
Oh my God, Bill in 1961.
Fucking how many Bills were there?
Like now.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Bill Rose.
How
depressing.
So Bill and Betty. So she hooked up with him. And of course, the fallout from that was bad on Betty.
Of course.
Like, no one gave a shit about the fact that Bill Rose had sex with this girl, but she was all of a sudden, like, Bill Rose had been friends with her ex, Mac Herring, and all around school, all of a sudden, Betty is a
pariah,
slut, whore.
Yeah.
They're saying terrible things about her through school. So there was that. Then she's a senior. She did not get cast in her senior show. She was instead made the stage manager, and that's a big deal for a theater major. She didn't get cast in it.
Yeah.
And
big.
on top of that, her best friend Gail got the lead, and her ex-boyfriend Mac Herring got the lead. So she's having to watch her best friend and her ex-boyfriend, who she really loved, interact together. To compound all of this, she had kept a diary of all of her sexual exploits. She wrote it all down in a journal.
Oh no.
Everything she had done.
Did she have the Christina shame receipt?
Well, not quite like that, which is fucking awful. But for me in high school, this would have been almost worse. Her ultra conservative Christian father went in, broke into her journal, and read it. Read her journal, was waiting for her when she got home, and told her, you think you're going to go away to college to get away from us? You're not going anywhere. I'm not going to let you go. You're not going to college. How dare you have done this? We're a good Christian family. You're ruined now. You're soiled now.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck is you when I am 18?
You can't,
yeah, you can't tell me what to do. You can't fucking tell me what to do.
I mean, and
you
honestly,
can make it impossible for me. You cannot pay for me to go away for college. You can do all this stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not a fucking prisoner.
And honestly, she probably would have gotten out on her own in one way or another. Now, it would have been devastating not only to have had that interaction with my parents, would have been awful. Yeah. Truly, truly awful. But then also, it would be devastating if you had this dream to go to college. Yeah. And you thought you were going to get to, and to have that ripped away from you with the other things. Now, I think it's important to like put this in the context of a 17-year-old. Like,
oh yeah.
This is life ending at 17. Like, all of these things. Honestly, truly, like, I remember the crush as a theater nerd. Like, I remember the crushing feeling of not getting cast. Yep. I remember the feeling of like having someone who you like have to do these scenes with someone else, and that feels bad. Yeah. And also your reputation, like, clearly, she didn't care about what people thought about her in one.
All this stuff like sucks now at 37.
It's the same thing.
I'm like, I've gotten like a whole bunch of really unexpected bills like in the last couple of weeks, like one on top of the other. So we've got that. So that's like the financial thing of not going to college, you know, like not getting something like that you're passionate about, or like having to watch like a friend of yours like do it with somebody. You know what I mean? Like all this stuff would be hard at 37, let alone 17.
And at 17, you're having all of these hyper, your hormones are spiked. And then your world when you're 17 is high school.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like that's
100%.
your entire world.
Yeah.
And like, if people don't want to be friends with you, it was kind of this thing that was unheard of at this time, to be this like free love girl.
Mm-hmm. And, she was like almost a decade ahead of the free love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
also in Texas.
And there were such strict rules for how like good Southern girls were supposed to behave.
Yeah.
And
Right.
she bucked all of those traditions. And it was
I
hard.
I want to hug this poor angel.
And also, I can totally relate to it in also being like kind of a weird theater girl, because they talked about like, why didn't anybody say anything that she was like asking people to kill her? And they were like, well, that was just Betty. She was kind of like dramatic and weird. And like she was just like a drama girl. So they were like, they laughed it off. Laughed it off
as being dramatic.
As like, this is just kind of how Betty is. Like, something is hard for her right now. So she's saying this thing.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God, kindred spirit.
Okay. So, they're talking about, okay, so what happened at the end of your drama club rehearsal? What happened at the end of it right before she went home? And the best friend is like, well, Mac Herring took me home. I asked him if he would drive me home. And Betty went home with this guy named Ike Nail. He said that he would drop her off at home. So that's the last we saw. Mm-hmm. So the police bring in Ike Nail and they're like, hey, what happened? And he's like, well, I dropped her off at home. And they're like, and is that the last time you saw her? And he's like, no, I went back. She asked me to come back later, and I went to her side door. She came out in a pink baby doll nightgown, and we went and drove into the alley to fool around, or hook up. And so they're like, so you were the last person to see her alive. And he was like, no. I wasn't the last person to see her alive. Oh. When we were making out in my car, another car pulled up behind us in the alley, and Betty went and got in his car. And they said, well, who was that? Do you recognize the car? Did you know who it was? And he said, yeah, it was Mac Herring, her ex-boyfriend. So,
holy shit.
So,
this girl.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So police,
that's
wilding out.
Big dick energy. You're like, and now I'm done with you. My next appointment's here.
Goodbye.
Like, goodbye. Like I've double booked before, but not so that the guy knows that I've double booked. You know what I mean? That's fucking confidence.
It is. So police bring in Mac, and everyone's kind of surprised that they're even talking to him, because they'd been broken up with for almost a year, and by all accounts, they were friends now, actually. Like, they, Betty was actually helping him with a lot of his lines for the show, because he had never done a show before. He'd never acted in a play, so she was like, helping him.
So, but you get cast.
Yeah, she's like,
that's cool.
It's fine. It's cool.
So
it's fine.
So, but you get cast.
That's the first thing I thought, too. I was like, oh, fucking, I'd be so pissed.
Isn't that, I mean, we've all been to high school. Isn't that the boys?
Boys
in
are
high
always,
school?
none of the boys give a fuck.
Never have to have the experience. It's always the girls that have to work hard to get the parts.
It is. There's always like way more girls.
Exactly.
But so she had been like meeting with him and like helping him, and like people were like, it was clear that she kind of was like, maybe proximity will make him love me again. Yep. You know, she kind of wanted, which I think we can all relate to. Like, she was playing this like, yeah, I'll be your friend, but it also means that I get to like hang out with you and like see you. So they bring him in, and at first they're like, hey, when was the last time you saw Betty? And he's like, at play rehearsal last night. And they're like, sir, that's not going to fly right now. We have a witness that says that you picked her up. And he's like, okay, I didn't want to get her in trouble, but yes, I picked her up and we just talked and we hung out for a while, and then I dropped her back home around midnight. So they're like, okay, you dropped her back home. Did you see her go into the house? And he's like, well, I dropped her off at the front. I didn't really see her go in. And they were like, nice try. She has a door that leads into her bedroom around the back. And
why would you drop her off?
You wouldn't drop her off in the front. So we know you're lying to us, because she never went in and out the front door.
Right.
So at that point, they're like, listen, her parents are worried. If you know where she is, if she ran away, if she asked you for a lift someplace, you need to tell us. Do you know where Betty is? And he said, yeah, I know where Betty is. I left her on my dad's property. I can take you there. So he gets in the car with them. They drive 26 miles outside of Odessa. They pull up to this kind of like lakefront. Mac proceeds to take off all of his clothes.
Excuse me.
Down to his underwear. And he walks into the lake.
No.
Leans down.
No.
Pulls Betty's body out of the lake.
No.
And onto the lake shore. And they're like, What happened? So he pulls her out. Yeah.
So he, there's a lot here to unpack, but where my head is why do you even give a fuck about your clothes to take them off?
I thought the same thing. I'm like, there's something fucking weird about a person who's like, got to keep this dry. Just press these pants. Like, weird. Yeah, there's something weird about a person who does that. It's also weird because weird. The way they describe it is like he didn't explain what he was doing either. So the cops are like, what are you doing? Like he just like silently takes his clothes off and goes in and gets her out.
Here, let me go grab her for you real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
Wait,
1 second. So he pulls her out of the lake and she's wearing her like little pink baby doll nightgown that she had on the night before. And they ask him, why did you do it? And he says, because she asked me to. So he starts explaining that she had been asking him for a while, not like long conversations, just like little snippets here and there. And the first time she asked him, they laughed about it. She played it off like she was joking. But then as time went on, she was like, no, I'm really unhappy. You would really be doing me a favor. Like, can you kill me? So.
Oh my God.
Yes. So.
How sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. And so they start making this plan. He steals some weights from the theater and some wire. He even brings her over to his dad's property to pick out a shotgun. She picks out her own shotgun. And so all of this sounds like, yeah, like she really wants to die. But then Ike Nail says when he pulled up in the car, she was surprised he actually came. Like she didn't actually think he was going to come, and said something even to the effect of like, well, I better go like call his bluff. Like I'm going to go call his bluff. And like,
oh no.
And
this is so
Mac Herring describes the entire, like, he's like, what was it like driving out there? And he's like, it was fine. We talked, like, 'cause they drove 26 miles together.
Right.
And they talked about life, and she talked about what heaven would be like. And they had like this entire conversation about it. And when he's talking about this, he's super calm, and it's kind of unnerving to the police because he's so calm. And one of them is like, how could you do this? Like you were her friend. And didn't you feel it?
She kept asking him to do it.
And he's like,
and she framed it in a way of saying, if you're my friends, like, and I'm unhappy, you're doing me a favor.
Yeah, but there's still something in someone who's able to do this. And like, it unnerved the police because he was so calm. And when they were like, didn't you feel anything about this? And what he said was, I felt sorry for her. I felt like the way I would feel about a cat stuck in the rain. Like that's how he felt about her. So once they get out there, he walks her out there. Her behavior is kind of strange to me, and we'll get into this like at the end, but like, so he asks her for a kiss to remember her by. So she gives him a kiss, and then she says, I'll always remember you for that. Which is a weird thing to say if you think you're about to die. Yeah. And she goes, like, she says that she goes back to the car because she's cold, like to get her, like the top part of her nightie.
Yeah.
You know, which is, I don't know. It's just like a weird behavior if you're like about to die. I don't know. But then again, I've never been in that situation. So he asks her to kneel down. She puts the gun to her head and he shoots her in the head.
Oh my
and then he follows through with the rest of the plan, weights her down, puts her in the lake, goes to school the next day, because he was at school all day the next day. So.
Oh my God.
He is charged with first-degree murder because he just
premeditated.
confessed to all of it.
Yeah.
But no one could find a real motive because it seemed like they were friends other than her asking him. So the conversation very quickly turned from poor Betty to she ruined this boy's life. Ooh. And everything turned against Betty and poor Mac to the point where his parents were very well off. Betty's were not. He was from a different tax bracket from her. Yeah. And so they were able to hire a very good lawyer that had a sanity hearing rather than going to even decide if they were going to go to trial.
Wow.
So during that sanity hearing, the only people that sat on Betty's side were her parents. Oh. The other side of the courtroom, Mac's side, was full. Oh. So they got a psychologist to say that he was sane after and before, but during that moment, he had been ground down so much by her constantly asking him over and over again to do this thing
that's not entirely unreasonable. That's not an entirely unreasonable defense.
He's a 17-year-old boy too.
If it's
he's
true.
17, right. And it's if she had been asking countless people to kill her, and that's a friend of yours, and if you don't know what kind of, I don't want to say manipulative, but you don't know what kind of language she's using. If over time that doesn't kind of inure you to the fact of what you're doing, there are reasons why assisted euthanasia and that kind of thing are a big fight with people sometimes being you know what, this person just kept asking me that to help them end it, and they were in pain.
And she was saying, often things aren't going to get better for me.
Right.
My life is not going to get any better, so I might as well end it. The thing that I don't agree with this is that in order to be temporarily insane, it means that you were sane before it, you were sane after it. When it happened, you were temporarily insane.
Right.
That it doesn't fly for this because he planned it.
Yeah.
You brought things with you. You planned it. Yeah. You hid the body. You lied to police.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hold up. But I think opinion changed because his father took the stand and read a letter that had been verified that it was Betty's handwriting that Betty had written that was I want Mac to do this. I don't want him to be punished for this. I am asking him to do this, and kind of excused him and let him out of exonerated him of all responsibility.
Shit.
So it was almost like she was testifying for him.
Yeah.
Through this letter.
I was going to say, why didn't she write some kind of...
just to make sure.
She did.
Yeah,
she did.
Huh.
So, he is deemed temporarily insane, which again, I don't agree with that. Right. He was deemed temporarily insane, and so there was no trial. Now, the thing that her friends say when you watch this episode, and I agree with, and I never want to diminish
is the fact that she was 17 and probably was didn't know that things get better.
And that, and also
17 sucks for everybody.
I think she wanted, especially with her being surprised he actually showed up and things like that. I think we've all been in a position where we just want somebody to care about us. And I think she kind of wanted him to be no, I'm here for you. Don't do it. I think she kind of expected that. Right. That was a game of chicken right up until the very end,
Yeah.
And maybe there was a part of him that wanted her to say, no, don't do it too.
Yeah.
But neither one of them did that. And so, and then there's this other element of her because she was loose and because she was different and because she was weird. And he was this football player who was handsome and from an upper class family that her life didn't matter as much. And so why ruin this kid's life for this girl who is not worth as much, So, Mac Herring's sanity hearing was overturned on appeal, and a full trial took place in November of 1962. But even after that trial, he was still found not guilty by reason of temporary insanity.
Wow.
So he was let off at the end of the day.
Wow.
That is a story of Betty Williams.
I'm so glad that you told that story because there were so many fucking awesome traits about her. And I feel good that we highlighted that. That she would be awesome today. But like in 1961 Texas, to have that kind of just like confidence and just, I mean, and it isn't an easy way to be now.
Right.
Definitely wasn't an easy way to be back then.
And I never was like, I'm going to kill myself. Like I don't like diminishing suicide to being like something that people do for attention because it's such a real thing.
Right.
So I don't like diminishing that. But I never did anything like that for attention. But I think I definitely did things and put myself in situations to try and get attention. Because I was just like, whatever I can do to make him notice me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And she, by all accounts, like loved him and like wanted him to like care about her and notice her the way that like he did before, and he didn't anymore. And so I think that there was a large part of her probably didn't want to die, that just wanted somebody to be like, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And like, I'll be here with you through this, you know? And while I don't know how I feel about him, because there is something to be said about someone constantly asking you this, and he was like a 17-year-old boy. I also think that there has to be something in you that's like able to plan that and pull that trigger. You know, like,
I agree. I definitely agree with that.
It's such a tricky case.
But we've talked about that like a number of times, like how much like a real friend will save your life, you know? Like if you have real girlfriends. Yeah. I mean, that's the reason why, like, you know, for once, like, this is really the first time where I'm like actually alone, where I don't have any kind of crutch or any kind of orbits or anything like that. But I don't, it feels good. I feel loved and supported because I have my girlfriends, and it's just really important. I think that is another important part of your story too, is that she really was looking for somebody to be like, yeah, no, it's going to be okay.
Because she was a social pariah, you know? Like, I mean, I think she had a couple of friends.
For love.
She had a couple of friends, but like when like high school's your whole world and these people are like turning against you, or people don't want to talk to you because it's bad for their reputation.
Radio DJ who's just using you for sex and stuff, and you're just trying to figure out what your value is.
You can't talk to your parents either because like their reaction is going to be bad. So you have nobody really to like talk to about these things. Like, it's just sad. Like the whole thing is sad, and her picture is so like sweet. Like she just looks so sweet in her picture, and she looks like a 17-year-old girl, you know?
Yeah. Let's drink one for Betty Williams.
Yeah. One for Betty.
One for Betty.
Cheers.
Brutal.
Yeah, sorry to end it on that note.
No, that's good. There's
like,
several things about that. It's like, let's be done with slut shaming. Yeah. Yes. Let's just fucking be done with that.
Throw that shit away. Yeah, absolutely. Especially like, it takes two to tango, dude. Yeah, you can't like shame one party and then be like, but the Bill Rose is fucking fine. It's fine. Right. So yeah.
It's that whole like Madonna whore thing.
Yep. Yeah, needs to die. Needs to burn it down. Well, if you have any stories that you would like to submit to us, even if you have any crazy in love ideas, I know that we are open to that. You can find all of our information on our website. You can also email us directly at myworstdatepodcast@gmail.com. Also, we haven't said this in a while, but I feel like it's worth saying, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It actually helps us out a lot. So if you listen and you're enjoying the podcast, I know we've got a lot of new listeners. So hi. Please rate and review us. Just leave a quick review if you're enjoying the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Yeah.
Check out our Patreon page.
Yeah.
We are uploading new content on the rig.
We've started doing listener mail kind of ask me anything questions.
Right.
So if you have any of those,
if you really want my fucking advice,
if you want advice, or even if you just have like ask me anything questions, like you're just curious about something about us, we're happy to answer those questions.
Yeah.
We do use it for bonus content on our Patreon. So if you want to hear us answer those questions, join us over there on Patreon. We have
all the
way
as little as $1.
$1 a month gets you bonus content, and then we have different tier levels that will get you different things all the way up to $25. So
yeah. Well, thank you so much, guys, and we will see you next time.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.